Hello teacher, today we will talk about methodology, language teaching, first and second language education theories. The method and methodology. The method. Method is a path that helps and guides any person to achieve a defined aim. The methodology. It is the set of techniques that teacher use to teach the context of any language course to non-native students. The method is related to approach, design, and procedure. The approach. It is the theoretical foundation of a language teaching methods and this can be structural, functional, and interactional. The design. Teaching materials are basic in any language teaching approach or method because they reinforce what the teacher teaches in class. The procedure. It can be taken in terms of three aspects. The number 1, types of teaching and learning techniques. Number 2, the types of exercise and practical activity. And number 3, the resources needed to implement the practical recommendations. In short, the method is not considered as a tool to achieve any end. On the contrary, it is used to explain the relationship between approach, design, and procedure from the point of view of language teaching. The method is related to the approach because it provides some insight into the theories of the nature of language and language learning. The method is associated with the design because it describes the four main elements that any educational program must have. The method is related to procedure because it is the final step in the teaching learning process.
Hi there, my name is Aaron, and at this moment I'm going to talk about the definition of the terms language, learning, and teaching. After analyzing some concepts related to language, we could find some common elements such as system, sounds, communication, people, and culture. In that way, we can say that language is a system because it uses codes such as letters, words, sentences. All these codes are arranged in a comprehensible order. Language also uses sounds for vowels, for consonants, and diphthongs. In fact, language is used by human beings who belong to the same cultural context to communicate and interact each other. Now regarding to learning, after reading some definitions related to it, we could define learning as the conscious process that takes place inside of the human being by means of intensive repetitions in order to get an understanding of a new fact. And finally, teaching is a systematic process that teachers use to help and guide students in any kind of learning. After reviewing those definitions, now I will talk a little bit about some theories for the first language acquisition. So let's start explaining about the behaviorist theory. Behaviorist researchers believe that behavior change comes out when the child responds positively to any stimuli. The same response that will be reinforced and then it will become a habit. Skinner thought that all human beings learn the language by operant conditioning, which means the voluntary response to any stimuli that is learned by reinforcement. On the other hand, regarding to generative theories, these theories hold that children learn the language by means of innate language mechanisms that allow them to learn the spoken language in their context. And into this approach, there are two theories which try to explain this acquisition process. Those are the nativist approach and the cognitive approach. The first, the first one, which holds that children are programmed to talk besides they get the language by means of series of hypotheses that are inside of their brain. And the second one, the cognitive approach, that tries to give a scientific view of how language is acquired by children. It considers that the human mind is organized in some levels such as memory, perception, thoughts, meaning, and emotion.
Hello teacher, my name is Nayeli Alvarez. I'm going to present theories of second language acquisition. The classical behaviorist theory by Ivan Pavlov. He developed the theory of classical conditional with stimulus and response connection. Learning occurs a conditional process and behavior, and learning through construction of serial response chains. The naive behavior theory by Skinner. Human behavior is based on psychology, so behavior is the result. The behavior occurs through environment and with the reinforcement of the people to need for stimulus. The cognitive learning theory. It is learned through the meaningful procedure that is made of the signals, ideas, notion of language. The information is the related cognitive domains and depends on the person, the human needs, goals, and motivations. The humanistic theory. Client-centered is a research in which tries to investigate the behavior of the human being and his way of learning. In addition, students do not require placing goals developed in terms of effective operation. Carl Rogers he tries to explain human learning depending personality, social, and cultural characteristics.
Language learning. McCarthy. There are no current explanation of how we acquire of language behaviorist theorist. Comprehensive theory of language acquisition and language behavior. This theory was proposed by Skinner. Learning acquisition, Brown and Blanche. Both research tested the hypothesis with two children about grammatical or semantic philosophic distinction. Jenkins and Palero. They formulate a theory about how they acquire language. Nativist theory asks that children are born with innate ability to organize lines of language which enables children to early learn a native language. Lenenberg, 1967, proposed a theory of language acquisition heavily rooted by biological evidence for students or normal language development in children. Cognitive theories. Cognitive theory suggests that people's interpretations of events cause their reactions, events, including emotional reaction. 4. Linguistically oriented theories versus learning-oriented theories. McNeil presents to dismiss current learning theories and inadequate to explain the special behavior in known language which they claim compromise linguistic competence. Thank you.